Hey, gentlemen, it's day 3, first Ashes test in Perth. What are you guys doing?
I'm still in Perth.
Yeah, as am I, Flem. Still in Perth.
I'm in Melbourne.
Yeah, our fast bowling teammate, he did the runner this morning, didn't he?
Yeah, I thought we'd catch up and spend some time together as a fast bowling cartel group. But no, he nicks off.
Well, I stayed the extra day just to do it.
Yeah,
you had to have all three of us here in the one room.
Same.
I was good. I just went, this will go a day and a half. It actually went longer than I thought. So I booked the 5:30 in the morning on day 3 to get back to Melbourne anyway.
Yeah.
So I'm good.
So you're good. But anyway, if you add up the overs, it is only a day and a half.
I don't think it was even that.
No.
We're going to get into that. All right, let's go, boys.
Got him.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Fast Bowling Cartel podcast. Australia have won England's unlosable test match thanks to an unbelievable 100 from the match winner himself, Travis Head. Mitchell Starc was man of the match, though. Blew away England twice. Scott Boland, brilliant yesterday. Doggett, good on debut. And now I'm joined by 2 fast bowling cartel legends, Jason Gillespie, Glenn McGrath. As I said, it is day 3 of the first test in Perth, and we are actually doing the review.
Yep.
And Perth Stadium is as empty as Zach Crawley's run total after 2 innings in the first test. Your thoughts, boys? Can you still just believe what happened last night?
Well, firstly, it's good to see you, Flem. Des.
G'day, boys.
Yes, DK.
Yeah, got to
Well
get that
done,
one in
Pidge.
there, Flem. But yeah, no, it was unbelievable, wasn't it? Even at tea time, I was still thinking it's definitely going into day 3.
Yeah.
But
Yes.
as it turned out, it was 10 minutes shy of not even asking for the extra half hour of the day, and just Travis Head along with Jake Weatherall to start with, and then Marnus Labuschagne just blew England away in that second innings. It was unbelievable innings by Heady.
Flem, it was absolutely bonkers, and g'day, Pidge. I'm still processing it, to be perfectly honest. That was absolutely incredible. What I loved about Travis Head as well was the fact that he just said, I'm going to do it, and I'm going to take first ball. I'm not going to let the debutant take the first ball. I'm going to take responsibility as senior player. Let's get this job done. Thought it was awesome from Travis Head.
It was. And coming into this test, he is one of our great match winners. He's actually had 10 Man of the Match awards in only 60 tests. And he didn't win it, but he was obviously a close second.
Yep.
And then also just the confusion around Usman Khawaja again. And it sounds like the boy is at tee. Who's going to open it? And Trav put his hand up. And he's done that in overseas tours, but he hasn't done it in Australian conditions. So the question is, have we found our opener now with Jake Weatherall? Surely he is opening at the Gabba, Travis Head and Jake Weatherall.
I mean, the question to be asked potentially is, has the answer been staring everyone in the face this whole time? I mean, at the time, before that innings, Travis Head opening the batting, admittedly it was in Asia, he's opened a number of times, but it's his most productive position from an average point of view, average 46, 48 runs per dismissal, opening the batting compared to around 40 batting in every other position. So I wonder if it's been considered. Has Trav said, look, no, I'm happy at 5, I'm happy to do it, but maybe the selectors now will be thinking that they'll think seriously about this leading into Brisbane now. They'll be seriously considering this option. Obviously, the health of Usman Khawaja will be debated this next week, but gee whiz, it's going to be hard to not bat Travis Head at the top, partnering Jake Weatherall.
No, without a doubt. And I think in the first innings, Uzi not being there threw a bit of a spanner in the works, and Australia got off to such a slow start. Usman not being there in the second innings actually helped the situation because Travis Head came up and just, blew them away. So I think if they had promoted Heady to opening, it would have been with Usman, and Jake wouldn't have been there. But the fact that Jake and Travis actually play for the same state, I think that really, helped Weatherall as well to get off to that start, which was important.
Yeah, and just off 69 balls, he ended up 123 off 83 deliveries. So it's, and I think it's the quickest 100 in a win in the fourth innings. That's the significance of this.
Yeah.
Even though overs wise, how slow the overs wrote, we were like halfway through day 2, weren't we, with the over rates?
Yep.
But that was the one. And for me at T, I'm still thinking England have thrown away an unassailable lead, I think, with their batting in the second session, which we'll talk about.
Yep.
But I still thought the way they bowled the night before, I thought it was advantage England.
Yep.
And maybe if we'd gone with Usman, even Marnus, which I thought we would, I'd say obviously it would have went to day 3, but, we still would have needed close to 100 runs.
Or who knows, the result could be completely different, Flem, if we went that way.
Well, I reckon it could be.
Yep.
Were you confident at T, boys? I thought it was advantage England.
Yeah, I think at lunch, when they were 1 wicket down, 100 runs in front, you thought, it's going exactly the way the Indian Test match went last year. They piled on the runs in the second innings. Joswal, Kohli got hundreds. I thought, here we go again. And then all of a sudden after lunch, Scotty Boland came out and picked up 3 quick ones. And after that, then 205, I thought was still going to be tough on that deck.
It was going to be the highest score of the game.
Yeah. And if Australia batted like they did in the first innings without intent, going out there just for survival, they had no chance.
See, I'm the other way. I thought both teams batted like cowboys, and 205 I thought was gettable. That surface was as consistent a surface that's been in Australia for the last 5 years. Yes, it bounced, okay, and there was a little bit of sideways movement, but a little bit of application is required in Test cricket. Batters have got to remember, the matches can go 5 days, up to 5 days. And what we saw, and I thought was just absolute madness from England after lunch. Admittedly, the Australians bowled well. They hung the ball out a little bit outside off stump, but they hit that all-important 6-metre length. And what England did, instead of just looking to play with a vertical bat, punch down the ground, or wait for the width to play with the horizontal bat, play the cut shots, they're the safer shots in Perth, whether it's Perth Stadium or the Wacker. Those 45-degree angle bats hitting through the offside, that's where you get into trouble. And that's exactly what England did. And they haven't learnt their lessons. They got Australia back into the game. And I felt at T, I felt it was advantage Australia because I thought that England just underachieved massively. They should have set Australia something north of 300 for mine. And I think they completely stuffed up that innings.
Well, even at lunch, we'll just get back to Trav in a second, but at lunch, England were 1 for 59 in control, which was really 1 for 99.
That's right.
So, and
they were bossing
really,
the game, Flem.
And I was so pleased for Bolo because I thought if they get after him again in the second innings, can he play the second test? Yeah. And he actually didn't bowl unplayable deliveries. This was a wide corridor. That we would consider when we were bowling, we're not making the batsman play.
It was
but
the
if
length.
You bowl 3 balls wide outside off stump, we know the Bazball batters will not let that go.
Yeah.
They will play a low percentage shot. So, that, Pope, if you're bowling his pads, he looks a millionaire, loves to cut. Anything in between, he's in trouble. Brooke, that's a shocker, wasn't it?
Yep.
I actually thought he'd be better off doing what he did in the first innings. If he was going to go, just back away, give yourself room. You know you're not going to get bowled or LB and hit it through the cover region. Instead, he sort of tried a half traditional, hit it on the up over cover for 6. And the extra bounce at Perth is low percentage.
Yeah.
And then it started happening. We started to get a good bowling partnership between Starc and thing. So the comments after the game from McCullum and Stokes, they're doubling down.
They're going harder.
What does that mean?
Yeah, you might have to wait for give me a spell, Flem.
So don't comment
give it away yet.
This.
Yeah, no,
But that's interesting, isn't it? There's no accountability, Pigeon.
Yeah, and I've said that from the start, even last Ashes series over in the UK. I said, I like the concept, but playing without fear rather than without pressure, but there's got to be that accountability there. If you get out a certain way, get out a soft way, you don't say, that's how you play, that's okay, because you're not learning. You're not improving.
No.
It's a cop-out.
It is. It's an easy option, and no one's going to improve or get better. And, what they needed to do was get Australia to bowl straighter to them rather than go hard at every ball they bowled. And, we've heard words from like Blueprint and all this other stuff from McCullum and from the support staff, but I'm not sure. The way they batted for years and years, talking to English players, they say that's not what you do when you come to Australia, and they did the opposite. Paid the price.
Certainly there. And for me, I was just trying to process it after the game. So Bazball, for those that don't know, is based on Travis Head, and he's batting in the last Ashes series. And Stokes and that talked about, well, why can't we all bat like that? Do you know what I mean? So a whole nation's batting philosophy is on one Australian. But my question is, it is. So my question is to the English. So for Travis, under Cummins and McDonald, they have said back yourself, play with freedom. So the way that Trav plays now, that's actually instinctive to him. And now he's been encouraged to play it. As I keep saying, he's not a run-making machine. He's not going to average 60, but he's a match winner, right? But if for England with Bazball, they're saying to some of their batsmen where it's not instinctive to hit every ball and hit shots in weird areas. They're saying to their whole batting group to go for Bazball and to play like it's 50-over cricket or T20 cricket. And for me, that's more instructional than instinctive, and you get caught in two minds.
I think that's a great point you make, Flem. I completely agree with that. The thing is, you can be fearless, but you can't be reckless. And I think it's muddied the waters in that England camp. You want to like Bazball. Essentially, it's a philosophy. It's an attitude. It's don't fear failure. Embrace it. There's going to be times when you fail. There's going to be times to succeed. I'm not quite sold on the no consequence, no accountability, because I think there has to be some sort of accountability. If you keep making the same mistakes over and over again, I mean, that's a definition of insanity, isn't it? Doing the same things over again and expecting different results. That's what we're seeing with this England side at the moment with the bat in hand. So, look, it just boggles the mind, Pidge. I don't know what you think.
You've got to learn.
You've got to learn, yeah.
Yeah, and we'll see how they go in Brisbane. They're talking about doubling down rather than, okay, we'll learn what we did there and we'll try to adapt to the conditions. We'll still be positive. That's more the language you'd be using rather than, we're going to go twice as hard. We sort of played from the crease in the second innings rather than go run out and go at them. So it's interesting, depends on which way they're looking at it.
I mean, Flem, what reminds me of is, you remember the improv show, Whose Line Is It Anyway? How England plays, the game's made up, the points don't matter. That's how England go about their batting, in my opinion. It's just bonkers.
Yeah. And what I did enjoy, we're all in the media centre at Perth and just watching the ex-English players just
they were
melt
up and about at lunchtime,
as
weren't they?
Trav goes. And, bad luck to them. And we don't need to mention any names, but we will. Phil Tufnell, the Lordship, Ian Botham, Michael Vaughan. Hope you get out of Perth very soon and enjoy it.
Vaughan was up and about, wasn't he?
Yeah, Vaughan. Don't forget Stuart Broad. But I'm doing a bit of commentary for English channel, and it's a roller coaster.
How was that?
It's an absolute roller coaster. They're playing well. Best team in the world. Hour later, no, we're the worst team. We can't win. Then they're back up, and then they're down. I'm going, guys, it's not even lunch day one yet. How about you just relax and get into the game?
Tell you what I did love, Pidgey, though, was the calmness around the Australian team. I know Mitchell Starc referenced it after day one, didn't he? He said, okay, no, we're staying calm. We're just making good decisions. We're having good conversations. We're staying calm and we'll just focus on our processes. I really liked that language and that calmness, and that really shone through after lunch on day two.
Yeah, well, the Australians have won the Ashes that many times, so we're used to it. Whereas the English, very rare for them, isn't it? So they're on edge all the time, even the guys up in the box.
Well, it's another Perth test they haven't won. They haven't beaten a full-strength Australian team in Perth ever. Hey, just back to Trav, though. Like, where do we rate that? That's got to be his greatest innings and arguably the greatest Ashes innings I've seen from an Australian. To go against type, to score that quickly with that many runs in a low-scoring test match is insane. And you can see that he just went through the 50 over to the T20, where he's an absolute gun. And also a tick to the crowd. How good was it having close to 60,000 people there on day 1 and 2? Yes, the Barmy Army got a bit of quiet in the afternoon, but the other factor of how good Trav is, rate that innings. Geez, it got Marnus going too, didn't it? Which is important. Hopefully now he's got the confidence to back himself and play shots. But for Travis Head, that is 100 that we will always remember where we were, and we were lucky enough to commentate on it.
Oh, it's probably going to be remembered as one of the greatest Ashes innings of all time. I'd sort of compare it a little bit to Gillies' 100 in 06-07 at the Wacker. Different circumstances, and even Gilly came out and said it was 40 degrees, that their bowlers were tired. The game was a completely different situation to what it was when Heady came out. So 4th innings, under the pump, quick bouncy pitch.
Promoted to open.
Yeah, batting out of position. So, but the thing I loved about Travis was the fact that he played to his strengths. He didn't try to slog or play shots that he's not good at, hit to his areas.
Correct.
And he wasn't slogging, he wasn't doing this, he was playing good, positive cricket to his strengths. And in the end, England bowlers they didn't know what to do. They just spread the field and just bowled short, took the pitch conditions out of it, and they were just hoping that the batsmen would get themselves out. And they didn't seem to have a plan of how they were going to take a wicket. So And Travis had the way he batted, but he batted to his strengths. And, there was one maiden over in the second innings, which is, that tells the story in itself. But the way he batted, I reckon it's one of the best. It will be remembered one of the greatest Ashes innings of all time.
I'll go as far to say it's the greatest Ashes innings for Australia ever. That was absolutely superb from Travis. I was also quite amazed, shocked, if you will, about England's tactics. You referenced it, the short ball plan. We saw that off stump, 4th, 5th stump line with the right length was tricky. And Travis may well have gone hard at those. He even said it himself. We interviewed him afterwards, and he said that when the few deliveries that were there, it was tricky, and he was kind of hoping they'd go to try different things, slower balls, short balls, because he felt he felt more comfortable with that, and he felt more able to score. So I think England missed a massive trick there, and I think Travis Head shell-shocked them, to be perfectly blunt.
And just to add to that, they should have learnt by watching the way the Australians bowled to Atkinson and Cast, which was exactly the same, and it didn't work.
Didn't work.
As
Correct.
bowlers in those conditions, and when batsmen are going, continue to get the batsmen to play big shots against good deliveries all the time. And that's what they didn't do.
If it's good enough for the top 6, it's good enough for the bottom 5.
Yeah.
I just think that you've got to get them playing on the up.
Correct.
You can't have them pushing back or half volleys or being able to cut there.
And if you get hit off, if you got hit off the length a couple of times, don't change it. Just stick there. Be strong in your. They should be strong in their bowling conviction rather than just strong in their batting conviction.
That's a really good point, Pidge.
Yeah, let's get into the fast bowling cartel. We've got to start with the great man Mitchell Starc, 35 years of age. His peak has continued for 3 or 4 years. And just even watching him bowl, that was the least amount of swing that Perth, the ball, since they've been done tracking at the Wacker or Perth Stadium, and he's still got 10 for, and he looks like he's changed his game plan a little bit. The wobbled seam for him in the last 3 or 4 years is now his stock ball and the angle across. And the big innie is the one that he bowls as his surprise weapon. But having that wobbled seam, I think his accuracy's improved.
I think you're right, Flynn.
So now he's more accurate with a ball that is always moving, and then he's still got his gun ball up his sleeve. So it's remarkable in his early to mid-30s, he's become more accurate and hasn't lost any of his potency.
And further to that, just on the wobble seam, when he's going across, I think there have been times in his career when he's looked to go across the right hand, he's actually just fallen away ever so slightly at front foot contact ball release, and which is just pushed the ball a little bit. I think he's staying a little bit more upright, getting his wrist and fingers behind the ball to give it a chance to wobble. And you're right, Flem. I think that's helped him with his accuracy. And look, he was in fine form. He's bowled beautifully. And then in the second innings, there was a little bit of swing. If you guys noticed that, there was a little bit. But I thought he was absolutely superb. And I did see him afterwards. And I can say he did apologise to me for not responding to a text message. But he's keen as mustard to get on the FBC pod with us, guys. So we're going to keep communicating. We'll find time and we'll get the great Mitchell Starc on to have a chat.
Yeah, and he does have some free days too, do you reckon?
I think he's going to have a lot of free days this series. Just a gut feel. But, going on from what you said, is, Starkey, I think Starkey knows his game now. He knows why he bowls well. I think he knows why he doesn't bowl well. And so he's a lot more confident. In the past when he was spraying him, hit left and right. It was funny when I looked at his bowling run up. When he slows, runs in slows, slowly over strides, his delivery stride is over a foot longer when he does that, and that doesn't allow him to get over his front leg. And you're either going to drag it down leg side if you use your front arm, or get rid of it and push it. He doesn't do that anymore. He's better. He's got good momentum, powers through the crease, and he's the thing that surprised me about the first innings. His best figures of 7 for 58. That's the first time he's ever taken 7 for in a Test match. I thought Starkey, the way he bowls, he can blast teams out. He's got that X factor. I was surprised his best bowling figures were only 6 for previously.
Yeah, and it was in the previous Test match, Kingston, Jamaica. He got 6 for 9 when Australia bowled out the West Indies for 27 at Sabina Park, and Scotty Boland got the hat trick as well. Yeah.
So what, 8 for next Test?
Hope so. That'd be great, wouldn't it?
It is building, because he got his best bowling figures at Adelaide last year. So he's broken it a couple of times in less than 12 months. That's unbelievable. But I just can't speak highly enough. I mean, we would have been cooked without him. Because one area that did work was the targeting of Scott Boland and the moving around the crease and all that. And Bolo probably had his worst innings in Australian conditions. And, you just think, wow, if they make him a non-entity in the second innings, that's going to put a lot of pressure on Mitchell Starc, Brendan Doggett on debut, but also questions about Bolo's spot in the team if Cummins back in. But he's such a hard-working man. He didn't get his body language was strong. He adjusted and he was rewarded and got us back into that Test match.
I've got a theory on why he wasn't at his very best, Flem, in the first innings. I was fortunate enough to go out into the inner sanctum and be part of the ceremony to present Brendan Doggett with his baggy green. And Scotty was obviously the one that was going to present him and make a speech. And he had this speech printed out on this card of paper. He came up to me. He said, Diz, I should have messaged you to talk about, to discuss what we were going to talk about. I have never been so nervous in my life. I'm absolutely packing it right now. He was so nervous. I reckon that took his focus a little bit away, because I haven't seen him bowl, Flem, so many half volleys and width, short and wide, in his Test or first class career. So did the Bazballers get into his head a little bit, or was he just having an off day? Maybe it's because he was too worried about the speech.
Oh, we know. He's a real introvert. We love him and he's loved. He does not want to do any public speaking, okay? There is no stand-up career for Scotty Boland when he retires.
Well, you never know. You never know. He might sort of grow into it as his career goes on.
Absolutely.
Well, he'd be a Stevie Wright-like comedian, I reckon. Just very no motion, just one-liner sort of thing. So wouldn't he be? But
bit like Mark Warren, Andrew Simon sort of style, you think?
It could be just that. You're very dry, and no laughing. But, something like that can throw you out. But Pigeon, particularly in the second innings, when he come from the members' end, he didn't bowl a bad ball, really.
No, he bowled well. And the difference I saw also, in the first innings, they went hard at him. They came out of their crease. And whether that's messed his line up, he seemed to be just putting it there. He was out of sorts, and maybe It was a bit. It is quite an emotional thing to present someone their baggy green
100%.
cap, and but in the second innings they played him from the crease, and as soon as they play, Scotty from the crease on a pitch that's doing a bit, and especially when you're hitting through lines where you shouldn't be, you're going to be in serious trouble, and they were found wanting.
Yeah, I mean, it's nervous enough when we get asked to present a baggy green, isn't it? So, for a player who's still with his teammates and it's not natural. And I got it confirmed in Perth, I have been banned from giving baggy greens to debutants.
What
Sandra
was that?
McDonald has confirmed that. Well, in the end, I was supposed to give one and it didn't come about, a late change in selection. But the one I did give was to Jai Richardson. And if I was injury prone, he's doubly injury prone. So
you're
they don't
banned.
want me give. They don't want me
That's
giving
fair.
him to.
That's fair.
So that's
Just for the resilience of that bowler.
so. How many have you presented, Flem? Just the one now.
Just the one, a couple of ones. I'll tell you one, and I've never told him. It was Chad Sayers was going to debut at the Gabba many years ago.
Wow.
And I had my speech ready to go. They were going to go with 4 quicks and not play Nathan Lyon. And up until 45 minutes, so 15 minutes before the toss, I was still ready to give that speech. So I never told Chad, and I wouldn't have told that story if he hadn't played a test match.
Yeah. What about you, Diz? Couple?
No, Ash Gardner. I presented her T20
Yeah.
cap at the MCG a number of years ago now. Matthew Mott, who was then the coach of Australia, invited me to make a speech there, which was fantastic. And and obviously been part of the Brendan Doggett presentation with Scotty Boland. So, that was, I was very grateful for the opportunity, and I was excited.
What about you, Pigeon?
It is a big honour. There's no doubt about that. The way we received our baggy greens was a little bit
Very
different.
different.
It just came in the box. Mine was actually underneath my baggy blue when I picked it up, but that's a different story. But no, it's. But no, first one I presented was Nathan Horrocks. It was on tour as well. I was still playing.
Yep.
Then Mitchell Johnson. So when I retired, first test after that, Mitch came in, so I presented his. And then Ashton Agar, Ash's tour, 99, got out for 99.
98.
98, sorry, batting 11.
That was at Trent Bridge, wasn't it?
Sorry?
Was it at Trent Bridge?
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
Yes. And then the other two have been Josh Hazelwood and Michael Neser for in tests, and Jason Berendorf in one day. So it is a nice honour. You do the anticipation, the nerves, because you actually want to do a good job. You're in front of your peers, and it is a special moment.
Yeah, I was a bit nervous, so I thought I'd try and get a laugh. So David, gave it away. Michael Hussey presented it to Curtis Patterson. So Mr. Cricket spoke first, and just as he finished, a round of applause, and I was looking at Nathan Lyon. He knew I was up to something, and I looked at Mr. Cricket and said, great speech, David. Really good stuff, like that. So I got a bit of a laugh to start.
So you meant it? Is that what you're saying?
I burnt him. Oh, yeah, I burnt him.
That's a proper burn, that.
Stuff you, Mr. Cricket. You're in the fast bowling cartel. You're taking the minutes. And what about, just to finish, the debutant, Brendan Doggett? He reminded me a little bit of Bo Webster's, not quite at the same quality, but, he bowled well. He actually batted well. It was a handy little last wicket partnership with Lino. Fielded well. 5 wickets. A couple of them were soft in the last innings, but you're just got to take that confidence. So we've got a test match into another quick.
Yep, five wickets and quite skiddy. He's a little bit quicker than the speed gun suggests. You speak to the batters.
Won't we all?
well, absolutely. We'd like to think so, yeah. But certainly he skids on nicely. I think he grouped together some good deliveries. There was no doubt there were a few nerves there, and but look, I thought he accounted for himself very well. A great debut for Dog.
Yeah, to get 5 wickets, wicket's a wicket. So you take him, depends on the context of the game.
How many did you get your first test?
No, I got 3.
In the
first Ashes series, first Ashes test, I got none.
None.
Only went for 120 though, so it was.
Oh, that's all right.
Yeah, so there was room for improvement, but yeah.
And you got me a gig, didn't you? You got me a gig.
I'm happy to look after
so.
my fellow quicks, but it's good, solid performance by Brendan there, and sort of with Scotty Boland not up to his normal standards that first innings, I think he played an important role.
Yep.
And keeping pressure from one end, and Starkey did the damage from the other.
Yep.
Tell you what, I think it was Stephen Smith or Alex Carey got him that first wicket. He didn't go up for it, did he?
No,
Brendan
he didn't,
Doggett,
did he? No.
Down the leg side, so it wasn't that classic. You knock out the stumps or an LB with a big shout, but slight disappointment for me. I reached out to Brendan. I wasn't presenting the baggy green. I knew you and Scotty would be doing it, but I think we got some video, just a little personal message that I sent to Brendan on the morning of the match. Well done, Doggo. Well deserved. You're going to be baggy green number 472, and you're part of an elite club. There is another elite club, and I'm not sure you're aware of it, Doggo, but the Australians that have taken hat-tricks on Test debut club. We had our annual general meeting here in Perth last night. Great night. Plenty of laughs, plenty of drinks, bit of karaoke at the end of the night. I picked up the bill at the end of the night. Still a pretty cheap night. Yeah, just me still in the club. There's been 110 opportunities for Australian players to join the club since 1994, and they've all failed, basically. I don't want to name names, but I will. Gillespie, Siddle, Starc, Boland, Hazelwood, Cummins. Maybe the pressure of joining a club was just too much. Maybe you can have a word to Big Hoff and Starkey today. And consider this an official invite. All we need is 3 wickets and 3 balls. And it doesn't matter how you make it up. They can be in an over. They can be like Merv, over 3 overs, over 2 innings. But in particular, that 3rd wicket is so important. Yeah, come on board, Brendan. Quite frankly, I'm sick of winning the golf day every year. Each year, the proposed tennis match doesn't go ahead. There's no one to return serve. There's no point. So good luck. 3 and 3 balls, Brendan. Can't wait to swing the racket with you. Cheers. Damien Fleming, President, Secretary, Social Secretary, the Australians with hat-tricks on Test debut club. He's let me down. 110 of them I've sent out, lads.
Well, there's still a bit of conjecture.
Is it that hard?
There's still conjecture on whether that one should count.
What do you mean?
There was a lot of issues in that test match where you took it. Firstly, it was Salam Malik who you got out for your hat-trick on 200.
Oh, no.
Wonder what the odds there would have been. But the other thing was...
What do you mean by that?
The other thing was Michael Slater and Mark Taylor both took wickets
in that test match.
So maybe we should just disregard that test match altogether.
Should we just wipe it from history?
Bringing it into disrepute, there's a lot of issues around that. So, but anyway... Just from congrats anyway, Flem.
Yeah, well bowled.
I think you're going to be having a lot of meetings by your Pat Malone.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, I didn't need you to bring up that was Slats and Tubby's only test wicket. So if we thought they were on the take, that just got confirmed. Didn't it? Hey, now fast bowling, Cameron Green. Looked a bit rusty, but got a wicket. I think he'll get better as it goes through. He's still grading that. The English fast bowling Cartel late on day one looked awesome.
Yeah,
looked awesome.
They were outstanding. They were hostile. They were quick, aggressive. I think they rattled the Australians, to be perfectly honest, and they bowled well, but. That was very different scenes on day 2. Jofra Archer was well down on pace, and we've discussed that a lot. He's played first-class cricket for the best part of a decade, and he's only played 40-odd first-class games, like multi-day games, and he's played 4 test matches in 4 years. Is he robust enough to back up? I know he's played a lot of T20 cricket, limited overs cricket, but is he robust enough to back up day after day? And I think we saw the answer to the question is he going to play a big role in these Ashes? I'm not sure. I think he might play 2 or 3 test matches, but I can't conceivably see him play 5. Mark Wood bowled rapid first innings. I thought he was outstanding. But again, he only bowled 5 overs or so. It was fast. Yeah. It was very fast.
Yeah, eight in the first innings. Archer 9. So it's not that you're just warming up.
It's not an arduous workload, is it?
It's not a big workload, so
But
yeah.
But they were decidedly down on pace in the second innings, and obviously bowling the bouncer plans does take it out of you a little bit as well.
Yeah, and I think Woody looked a little bit underdone. But they both bowled well in to start with, but then bouncing back in that second dig, they looked a bit underdone.
Yep, I really like the look of Cass. I thought before the test that he could be a bowler that has some success in Australia. The reason I say that, he runs in and hits the pitch hard. Last year when I was coaching Pakistan, we played England in Multan and Rawalpindi and on some pretty benign surfaces for fast bowlers. Bryden Cass hit the pitch hard. The Pakistan batsman felt he was the most effective bowler. He was excellent. And look, I think he's going to have a pretty good tour of Australia. He's one that the Aussies should keep an eye on.
Yeah, and I thought Gus Atkinson bowled. He was unlucky in the first innings. He got met yesterday, but they're handy. Tongue will be handy, Potts will be handy. But the problem with Bazball is their quicks don't get a big rest.
Exactly.
I just can't see him batting a whole day. I mean, they can go close to batting a whole day and still score 350, 360, if not 400 if they get going. But the thing is, I can just see their quicks bowling every day. And you know what it's like, even if it's just for a few overs, you got to warm up, you got to do it, you got to get out there.
Absolutely.
So I can't see Wood and Archer playing in the same test again.
Yep.
They used words like unrelenting on day one with their fast bowling, and I went, that worried me a bit. Going, they're switched on. This is what we used to talk, or Steve Waugh used to talk about being ruthless, wasn't it? But when you're on top, but that doesn't get. They're not unrelenting with their batting. They're the total opposite, aren't they?
Yeah.
Oh, they're not unrelenting with the shots they're playing.
They sort of are, aren't they? Yeah.
Well,
they just go for him, but yeah.
65 overs they batted for. Lost 20 wickets. So it's 25 overs left in a day.
They faced 405 balls for the match. Lost 20 wickets. It's insane.
And when I think unrelenting, which I like as a philosophy for a team, and they certainly showed that with the ball, but when they're virtually 1 for 100 with 9 wickets in hand, unrelenting just buries the rest of the game. Does not let the Australians back in.
You can't let a team back in
the opposite
from that
of
position. You can't let a team back from that position, Flem. That was a stuff up. There's no doubt. No two ways about it. It was a stuff up.
Australian, just one last, is the other debutant, Jake Weatherald, who got a pretty good ball. There must have been so much things going through his head on Test match debut, let alone that his partner wasn't walking out with him and he faced the first couple of balls. But I think Travs had helped him in the second innings, but also we got a bit of a look. It'll be a double barrel gun when he gets going. Because Travis Head scores. Jake Weatherald is the natural scorer, as you would have seen in South Australia, Diz.
Yeah, most certainly, and I agree. And that was part of Travis's thinking as well. Speaking to him after the play, obviously him and Weathers are good mates. They played a lot together, South Australia and the Adelaide Strikers. So Weathers, obviously on debut, it's an anxious time. You're excited, you're nervous. Travis took it upon himself to say, look, I'm going to go out and do this and I'm going to take the first ball. I thought it was great leadership. Shows why Travis is such an effective leader around that group. I thought it was excellent. Weathers showed some promise, I thought. And look, he's a good player of fast bowling, Jake Weatherald. And 23 runs. It's not a huge return, but it's a start. And it would just settle him down after his naught in the first innings. And look, he can go with a lot of confidence, go to Brisbane, and where he has scored a lot of runs for South Australia and Tasmania in Brisbane. So look, hopefully this can be the start of a really good series for him.
Yeah, no, I agree. Good confidence for him in that second dig. They got Australia off to a good start. Lost their first wicket for 75 in the 12th over. So, that start was important for Australia, chasing those runs down, and Weather was a big part of that.
Yeah, it is. Hey, boys, we're delighted to have Swyftx on board with us for the Ashes series, delivering the All-Rounder Index. The All-Rounder Index covers the hard-working bowlers when they have to bat. whether it's a big score, 100, a 50, maybe it's a 25 or an important partnership, I'll be having a look and giving the best all-rounder index for the test match. Today's all-rounder index, I thought Carson Atkinson were pretty good for England in the second innings. They put on a quick 50. Not so sure about the tactics from the Australians, just bowling short every time. But I'm actually going to go Mitchell Starc for the Swyftx all-rounder index. He only scored 12, but he put on 38 with Alex Carey after getting seventh with the ball and then having to come out late in the day and have to get us out of the shit a little bit with the bat as well. So I'm giving that to Mitchell Starc. But make sure you download Swyftx today. That's SWYFTX. For those of you who are listening or watching at home, it's cryptocurrency trading made enjoyable, just like this podcast. Okay, Pidge, it's time for that segment. And
I look forward to it all the time.
What about in the media centre? You can just see some of those commentators who are known for making big statements and all that sort of stuff. As I said, they're getting script writers, they're getting proofreaders, because if they say anything that's slightly contradictory, something anti-fast bowling Cartel, this man will be on them and he will call them out any segment. Give me a spell. Take us away, Diz.
Thanks, Flem. Thanks, Pidge. Just been looking at a few things. I'm segueing away from cricket, funny enough. It is in reference to cricket, but this happened a couple of weeks ago. It was a lead into the Ashes. And the AFL, Laura Kane, head of football. So what she did, they did the fixture release. And she's claimed that cricket and football can coexist over the summer months. Give me a spell, Laura. You've encroached on the summer game too much. Now we've got football in February. We've got football in March. No, stick to your season. This was just a grab at the media to try and take the focus away from the Ashes and back onto the AFL. So give me a spell. Just remember, Aussie Rules football was created to give cricketers some fitness work to do in the winter. And also just on, finally as well, MCG. What does that stand for? Melbourne Cricket Ground.
Yes.
SCG. What does that stand for, Laura? Sydney Cricket Ground. Give me a spell. And the other one, I've got one more, Flem, one more Pidge, and I did reference it in our start. Brendan McCullum, great friend of ours, has been coaching England for a little while now. Pidge referenced it. He talked. I heard him interviewed by Jonathan Agnew, and of the BBC, and he mentioned the word blueprint, I think 4 or 5 times in that interview. We're not going to deviate from our blueprint. We believe in our blueprint. Give me a spell, Baz. Give me a spell. Test cricket is about adjusting and adapting to conditions, situations, opposition. What we've seen with your team is when the surfaces are flat as a pancake, yes, no dramas. You guys go and score at a decent clip, no worries, you look like rock stars, right? As soon as we've seen any deviation off the surface, any swing, any spin,
Any bounce?
Bounce, adjust, adapt. Give me a spell, Baz. Dizzy out.
Very good, Diz.
Jeez. I was just going to say, did you double down on your give me a spell then, to Baz?
I did double down.
It's double down. It's double down, Diz.
It's double down,
That's what
Diz.
it was.
Yeah.
Mate, that's absolute gold. Absolute gold. I don't reckon it'll be the last one for the English cricket team. I've just got a feeling they're going to have one of those summers.
And other sports have to watch out as well.
Yeah, I'm not limiting it to cricket. Although there was a cricket reference with the AFL.
Exactly. Fair enough.
Yeah.
You know,
but we don't really
approach
care
on our
what-
summer.
Yeah. You
We don't care what the meat prices, pies prices are in round 16 at the SCG and AFL, do we, in November? I don't care.
Correct. Oh, hey, Flem. Look, and Pidge, we've got this new segment, boys, brought to us by VB, one of our sponsors, the Golden LongNeck Award. Okay? And this is for, which I love this too from VB, the hardest working bowler. What do you think, Pidge?
Yeah, well, firstly, you have to be 18 and also drink responsibly. But when you look at hard-working bowlers, it's really fast bowler, hard-working comes with it. So, I'm going to go for this test for Mitchell Starc. Bowled his heart out, 7 for, he's batting in the afternoon. Next, he's out bowling again, and that first wicket just puts his body on the line. Incredible caught and bowl. Yeah, and then they're trying to say, oh, did it touch the ground? That annoys me, but that's a different argument there. But, puts his body on the line, and he's just all the time, 100% in the field, on the boundary, strong throwing arm, always gives 100%. So my golden LongNeck goes to Mitchell Starc for this last test match.
And I think with this award, as it evolves, I think we need to preface it by saying it's not necessarily always going to be the person who gets the most wickets or whatever, but the hardest worker. But Pidge, that's a great suggestion. Mitchell Starc, fully agree.
Yeah, I mean, an example, if it backed up in the second innings, would have been Gus Atkinson, who bowled some quality overs and didn't get a wicket. Bowling into the breeze. But Mitchell Starc not only dominated and got man of the match, he bowled the most overs. But that's interesting you brought that up because just showing the maturity and what a legend he is. He helped out with a handy partnership after getting 7 for. That caught and bowled is one of the greatest caught and bowls I've ever seen. And once again, it got downplayed because we had to go upstairs. It was a bloody catch.
Oh, without a doubt. And the other thing, always putting his body on the line. Did you see that one smash back? Oh, he kicked it off his shin and went forward. Like,
I'll tell you what. Ouch. He didn't rub it though, did he?
No, he did not.
that would have hurt so much.
I think it hurt the ball.
Yeah, I like the golden LongNeck. This will be a lot of debate, and hopefully we get matches that go over 2 tests, because then the award will. If we happen to, God forbid, get a 5-day test with high scores, there's going to be fast bowlers doing all that.
Yeah, we're not getting a 5-day test this series, but anyway.
But no, I like that. Well done, boys. And well done, Starkey. Okay, looking ahead to the next test, they've got a big break. Some of the things I think we've already answered, so I think we're comfortable with Head opening with Weatherall, isn't it? I mean,
who's coming in?
Might not be fit.
Well, Uzi, then Uzi's not playing, then is he? If Head's up there, who's coming in?
Well,
a batsman or a bowler? All-rounder?
Well, Bo Webster was 12th man, and the rumours are he was very unlucky. There was thought of playing him and not Nathan Lyon, even with Lino's great record there, just to deepen the batting. But because we've got Cam Green, they could go a Josh Inglis, who's always part of the squad, got a century on debut.
I think if you've got 4 out-and-out seamers, including Cameron Green, you don't necessarily need a 5th seamer. So if you're lengthening the batting, then you look who's your best batting option, and I would suggest that maybe Josh Inglis would be that person.
Yep, no, I can't disagree with that, and he's scores at a good clip as well. So just to strengthen, bolster that batting lineup, and if Travs doesn't come up off at the top there, just the day-night test. Completely different strategies coming up in Brisbane, but I like the concept of having him at the top and taking it to. I think England were a little concerned that Travis Head or Mitchell Marsh might be at the top of the order, someone to take them on. But as it turned out, it was Marnus and Jake in that first innings, and then things got in a bit of a hole. So
I think there's big decisions to make from the selectors. Even if, we don't know what the health of Usman Khawaja is going to be with his injured back at the moment. There's still plenty of time before that second test in Brisbane. But even if he is fully fit, there's got to be some temptation, surely, to continue to play Travis Head at the top. Jake Weatherald, for me, he plays. Nothing sure, and that would then mean that Usman unfortunately misses out.
Yeah, and that could be it for him.
Yep, absolutely.
That's just the way it goes. It's natural attrition.
39 next month.
An opener. Yeah, and Weatherald has to play because, we do need to find, a traditional opener up there. And then it actually, instead of just relying on trying to replace Warner's accelerating batting, we've actually got 2 at the top. And then we've got Marnus. Hopefully, he'll get a lot of confidence out of that number 3 and getting 50 in the second innings. So, and also we've got to wait on Nathan Lyon too. Like he was in real discomfort. And look at the conditions up at day night at the Gabba. So we could see a fair few different decisions, and hopefully Pat Cummins is fit. That hasn't been confirmed. Hazelwood's out.
There's an ugly rumour that he may not even play this series, which no confirmation. It's just going around the commentary box. No. I don't know where it's come from, but that's the general consensus.
He must have done it badly. It was a hamstring,
They're mentioning it only felt slight, tendon, no.
Ah, gotcha.
So, recovering muscle.
Is there a hot spot, Flem?
I'm not sure, but let's get him scanned. And that's one thing we will do. We're looking for a sponsor. We're going to scan our backs, us 3.
Geez, I'd line
I'm
up
sure
like
there's some old
Christmas tree.
jerseys in there. What about, while we're laughing and having a good time, let's talk about England. What are they going to do? They've got a big break, but will Archer and Wood play again together?
I don't think they'll play again together. There's a bit of debate, bit of discussion about there's the 2-day game against the Prime Minister's 11 on the weekend in Canberra. And with this big break that it's only been a 2-day test in Perth, is there an opportunity for the England management to send a few of their players to get some much-needed match practice with a pink cricket ball? There's a lot of lead-in time to that second test in Brisbane, something like 12 days or something. So there's plenty of time. Would it be worthwhile? But I think in that interview with Jonathan Agnew, Brendan McCullum kind of almost shut it down. Said, look, we'll discuss it. Haven't really thought about it, Aggers, but look, there's value in us. We've got our plan on how we're going to go about
their
things.
Their
blueprint. We'll keep our squad together. Going
have
up.
They booked their tea times, Diz? Have they already booked their
They may well have done that. So,
can't change them.
But in that interview with Aggers, they basically shut it down as it's not an option.
Yeah, which surprises me. I think you've got to be able to pivot. You've got to be able to adjust and adapt. And with this game only going 2 days, there's a great opportunity. 2-day Manuka Oval on a good surface, the pink ball under lights. To me, that makes sense. And
my philosophy in analysing Bazball and Bazza and Stokesy is the way that we think. I think the opposite that they're going to do.
Right.
That's almost what they do, isn't it?
Yeah. Yep.
So
that's fair.
traditionally, and they'll do the total opposite of that.
And one thing I actually do like is that they do back themselves in. There's no doubt. They've got belief in what their philosophy is and how they go about it. So part of me respects that. But as I've said,
can every individual? They say it publicly. Just before we finish there, can every individual on that team, even though it gets spruiked, is every individual in that team feeling like they can back themselves?
It's a very
well, I
good
think
question.
they're pretty close off the field, and
they are
in their mindset. My biggest,
I'm backing that off the back of poor performances. We used to play. We're always vulnerable to confidence.
So that should really hurt them, and I think it did. They were shell-shocked yesterday, and rightly so. How they bounce back is going to be the thing. But the thing that I like confidence. I like backing yourself. I like saying, this is what we're going to do. We're going to come out and do this. But then they come out and say, oh, we're changing the game. We're doing that. We're great. We're this. That's for other people to judge. The greats have a certain amount of humility. You come out and say what you're going to do, then other people judge how well you did it. And that's how it is. You don't judge how well you did it.
And touching on that, you mentioned something, the confidence they have. Confidence actually comes from evidence. But there's no evidence to suggest that this will work. So, I'm a bit like you, Flem, I think, and Pidge. There's a couple of question marks there, I reckon.
Little wobbles. What a great way to finish. Well done to the Aussies. Well done to Trav Head and Mitch Starc in particular.
Brilliant.
And Brendan and Jake, on debut. And they got to sing the song in their first test. What a great honour there.
They were so excited after play. They were very excited about that opportunity. They loved it.
They were.
Yeah,
and
they were.
Boys, to finish off, it's the DK. That is the Fast Bowling Cartel. Hope you liked it. Subscribe, download. We might work on a little guest, Pidge, Diz, on maybe a left arm quick. We'll do some work as well. But that is the Fast Bowling Cartel. We'll be back later in the week, hopefully with a guest. Well done, boys.